Hey Roosters, and welcome back to another video. Today we have some big news for the Godzilla card game. In the last video I talked about how when you look at the page for the Godzilla card game there's not really much on it except for some really bare bones type of information. Well, now we have a lot more information regarding the Godzilla card game and still more to come. So without further ado, let's hop right into the update. So going back to the page here, again the link will be again in the description for you guys. um, you see that there's a lot of stuff sort of just not here. The biggest part that changed is right here in the product section. So before there was not, you did not have access to products, but now you do. You can go to products and you can click on it and it'll take you to their products section. And so this isn't completely flushed out yet. As you can see, there's no images for any of the stuff yet, but the listings are here. So this is going to tell us obviously MSRP. It's also going to tell us the release date, which we now officially know to be July 5th. I'm not sure if that was confirmed beforehand, but in the last video I was made it very much known that I was not sure if the release date has been mentioned. Now we know it's July 5th, and we have some MSRPs for some of these products here. So we're going to take a look at that in just a second, but I'm just going to click through this to make sure I'm not missing anything before we hop right into that. And this is the biggest news update, and there's a lot more to it than just prices. So if you're not really that interested in that, but there's also some more rules update for the card game that you can actually get from this here. So we'll take it one at a time. We'll start at the booster set, because the booster set tells us a lot of what we are going to talk about in today's video, which again isn't much, but I did want to get this this out to you guys. So let's wait for it to load real quick. Okay, here we go. So it says Godzilla Card Game, control calamity or defend against destruction in the booster set 1, on sale July 5th, 2025. The MSRP says $450 for a single pack of 7 cards. Now this is I'm pretty sure for probably the Japanese side of the card game. So if you guys don't know, usually in Japan, card booster sets are really small, and they are also the packs are a lot smaller than they are in America. Now this is the English site, so this could be how it's releasing in America, but generally in America we have bigger size packs with more cards than just 7, and we have boxes of like 24 cards. I really don't know how this is all going to shake out. I don't know how Bushiroad usually does their American releases compared to their Japanese releases. So probably somebody who's a little more experienced in that realm can tell you if this is going to stay the same or it's going to change. But the way they have it now listed here is a lot closer to how the people release card games in Japan than how we get them over here in the West. But anyway, so it's MSRP. It says $450 for a single pack of 7 cards, $54 for a box, which is only 12 packs, which is like not how we get it in America. Usually a box would be like 24 packs for us, at least. And then $972 for a carton, it says, which I don't think anybody gets in America, which will be 18 boxes. We get cases out here. That's at least what we call them. So a lot of terminology that we don't really use, but we're going to get into some other big juicy information that is new and it is pretty exciting. So it says control, calamity, yada yada yada. Power up your decks with cards from the first booster set. These cards are great for collection as well. So obviously they're trying to let people who aren't interested in the game know that they can still buy these cards and enjoy them. So here we have some interesting information right here. Types of cards. Base rarity, 80 types, plus rage card. So what that means to me is that there's 80 cards in this set, which means it's going to be a smaller set overall. Now again, that's, as far as I know, Japan usually has smaller card game sets compared to America, and they have smaller packs and all that. But in America, usually an 80 card set is pretty small, and it says plus rage card. That generally, that makes me think that the raid cards again are resources, as in they're not really serialized in that way. It really doesn't matter what rage card you get or you use because they all function the same, like Dawn cards from One Piece. It says, so you have 30 commons, 22 uncommons, 18 rares, and 10 super rares, and then 8 different rage cards. I'm guessing 8 different arts for the rage cards. That's my guess. Assumingly all the rage cards are going to do the same thing. But that's an interesting breakdown right there. Again, an 80 card set, it's pretty darn small. So we'll see if it somehow is like released that way in America, or if I'm misinterpreting something here. Probably I am. So if you guys know what this is about, please let me know in the comment section below. But the way it reads to me, base rarity 80 types, it just reads that there's a base of 80 cards in the set, and this is the rarity breakdown for that set. Product content. Stay tuned for the Boost Road strategy presentation on March 27th for more information. This is important. This means that we're going to get more information March 27th. Like I said in the last video, we knew we were getting more information and soon. That's like 2 weeks away from when I'm recording this video. So yeah, very soon we're about to get some more information about probably the complete rules of how to play this game. So you guys stay tuned for me to upload the video covering that. But here we go, more about the game. Card size, typical card game size. It says deck construction rules. Choose one color and build a 54 card deck with cards from that color. You may also include white cards, which can be used in any deck. And up to 4 copies of the same number can be included in a deck. So this is really big rules update for the game. So I kind of assumed 50 card decks. It is a Japanese card game. They don't all do 50 cards, but it's becoming more and more common amongst really all card games to do 50 card decks. You see this with One Piece, and you see this with a lot of the Bandai games. The extra 4 cards are your monster deck, so you have 4 different monster cards. If you didn't know how that works, I kind of went over it really briefly in the last video, and probably in the next video when we reveal all the rules, I'll go over that again. But essentially, you have a deck of 4 monster cards that are not in your main 50 card deck. And then this product, so the main booster set includes 3 colors, red, blue, and white. Obviously, white is your neutral color, and then there's the red and blue colors outside of that. Use of cards, only the English version will be supported or sanctioned in official tournaments outside of Japan, with the exception of certain cards like rage cards. This is because rage cards, again, are universal. They're like energy cards. It doesn't matter really where you got them from. Realistically, you could proxy them and nobody should care because they're all the same. It's just about the art. The Japanese version cards may not be used yet. So that's for the booster set, and to be honest, the starter decks kind of tell you a very similar piece of information, but they do give you a little bit of the difference here, especially with the MSRP. So this is one of the decks. This is the blue Heisei series deck, and so this tells us one thing. So this deck is blue. Obviously in the main set there's 2 main colors, blue and red, and this is going to be blue. For one starter deck, it's going to cost you $18 US. Coming out obviously July 5th. Started journey with the starter deck Heisei series featuring 7 titles from Godzilla 1984 to Godzilla vs. Destroyer 1995. So that's really cool. I hope that in the end the different eras and the different types of Godzilla movies are each given their own color and identity. So if you're really big into the Heisei series, you can just play blue. And although I'm going to rant about that a little bit more about the way the colors work, at least the way that it does have that going for it. And I hope that's how it works. And I'll talk about that for a little bit towards the end. But again, MSRP, display of decks will cost you $188. A carton will be $864. So this comes with a fixed 60 card deck. The main deck will be 50 cards. Your monster deck will be 4 cards, and your rage cards will be 6. Interestingly, you get 6 rage cards here. So I'm still interested in how rage cards exactly work, because if they just work just like Dawns or similar to that, or resources from Gundam, or mana stones from Force of Will, then 6 is a really small number. It means your max resources are going to be 6 every turn. But if they do work something a little bit different, then that'll be interesting to see. Cards in the starter deck may be released in the future. Some cards may be replaced with parallel versions, and other items you get in the deck is a rule sheet, a playmat, and a booster pack from the main set. That's really cool. I love when starter decks include booster packs in the starter decks. It's really cool. It promotes that drive to upgrade and improve on the starter deck. Obviously, the starter deck will be released with the booster set at the same day. So essentially, this just goes over deck construction again. Choose one color, 54 card deck. You may include white cards, which means up to any color. 4 cards with the same number may be included in each deck. this starter deck contains blue cards. And you'll find that the Godzilla -1, which is the other starter deck, is the same, but it's red. Uh, so this is the red starter deck, Godzilla -1. Obviously, this is a bit more of a modern take. So I assume if, for example, that each color represented a different era of Godzilla's history, then this would be a more modern era of Godzilla, which would be the red color. So a lot of the same information. In fact, pretty much the exact same information that you got from the other deck. So yeah, so that's the update basically. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more right now, but yeah, that's pretty much all the new information we get. So a couple things I want to go over before we get out of here. Of course, I'm going to do a little bit of ranting as I like to do. First things first, if you go over to the Japanese website, the Japanese version of the website, not the American version, there are actually event information you can take a look at. Obviously, a lot of these events take place in Japan, which is probably why they're not in America. But the final event here, Anime Expo 2025, does take place in the Los Angeles Convention Center in the USA. And it's going to happen July 3rd, so right before the game release officially. So essentially, this is probably where you can buy some packs and stuff like that, get your hands on some cards a little bit earlier than other players might be able to. But again, the game releases like the day after this convention. But yeah, maybe if you're going to that convention or can get to that convention, might be cool, might be chill. But for the most part, a lot of these conventions are in Japan. So, what am I going to yap about before we get out of here? First off, just to go over all the information we just got in this latest update. First things first, we now know how deck construction works. Not a huge surprise, if I'm honest, but I do want to say one thing about it. The fact that you pick one color and then you basically get to use generics in that one color is a bit disappointing. I like when you get a little more freedom in your deck building within a card game. At least we'll see how it ends up panning out. Because if the generics are actually what generics are supposed to be, in the sense that they are staple cards that every deck might want to run, or just some generic cards to fill out the roster. Say if your deck is maybe weak at one thing, you can sort of supplement that with some white cards. But if they are just sort of not really generic cards in the truest sense of the word, like commons that are staples, but rather hyper-specific cards that can just be added to any deck, really like the really powerful cards that can be added to any deck, that would be pretty disappointing. I watched a couple, I never played cards like Vanguard, and I definitely don't know a lot about what's happening right now, but a lot of people have a lot of words to say about how they do their generics in that game and how their deck construction works in that game. And hopefully it doesn't really work exactly the same in Godzilla from what I've heard. But for the most part, it's not all bad because if in the end, like I said, each color is very thematically specific, then I think it will be pretty much worth it because if I'm really big into this one era of Godzilla, I can just show that off in my deck construction. See, if I'm a Godzilla fan, if I just like Godzilla in general, if I don't care if I'm playing Showa or Heisei or the Legendary or -1, I can play any color, right? But say I really like this one era along with all of his villains and all the robots, then it's cool that you have the ability to just say I'm going to play from that era, and thematically it will all tie together in just blue. Blue will play Heisei series, red will be maybe modern, so maybe Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1. You might get purple, hopefully, or something for like Legendary, or green for Showa, something like that. It would be pretty cool. But, yeah, so it's a little bit disappointing, I'll be honest. I would really rather have hoped for a more open type of deck construction, but it does tell us a lot about the game right then and there. 50 card decks, 4 copies of any numbered card, which means you can have 5 cards with all of the Godzilla name on them, but you can only have 4 copies of one specific version of that card. And then, yeah, you pick your color and you kind of throw in whatever white cards you need to supplement that, and you go from there. Rage cards, very interesting. Still not sure exactly how they work, but more and more I'm convinced they work like just like Dawn cards. They might also, incidentally, I think it's a big possibility that they work like energy cards from Card Vanguard. So essentially, abilities will say gain 1 rage, and then you just put that token from outside of the game into play. and then you'll destroy it and they'll remove from game and you'll use it for an effect or something like that, or give you more power. It very seems that that's also very likely that's how that's going to work. But again, the game does need a main resource system, which I'm pretty sure it has. If you take a look at the cards that you get to take a look at, the cards that they've shown you, um, it's very obvious that there is some sort of resource system happening. So yeah, if you take a look at Destroyer here, um, it's very obvious that he has in the top left corner a big 8. So what is that? It's probably his cost, right? Makes sense. And so that would be indicative of that. And if you look at the rage cards here, they also have these plus numbers down there. Don't know what that means. All in all, I'm still pretty interested in the raid cards, but I'm more and more becoming convinced that they either work just like Dawn, but more likely like energy cards from Cardfight Vanguard, where they're like tokens outside of the game that you put into play when a card said so, and you blow up when you need to. But still, we haven't seen any effects yet, so we really have no clue about how this is all going to shake down. Obviously, like I said, the set's really small. 80 cards is not that big. And it definitely seems like right now this product page is sort of just like the translation of the Japanese product page from the way everything's set up. Now, again, I don't know exactly how Bushiroad likes to distribute their cards in the West. I've never played Cardfight Vanguard or any other Bushiroad card game. So it could very well be that they use a very similar distribution model to the Japanese release as they do for the American release. But generally, from what I know about card games, in America, our packs are bigger, our boxes are bigger, and so it would make sense that maybe this is still subject to change, maybe. We'll see as time goes on. Before I get out of here, this is going to be the last thing I say. March 27th, we're probably going to get complete rules for the game. At least some real effect cards with abilities on them, and a playthrough. This is going to be a presentation. We're going to get a lot more information. So March 27th, mark your calendars. I'm going to be here giving you guys the update and giving you guys the scoop. And I hope you guys stick around if you're still interested in the Godzilla card game, because we're not going to stop now. We have a lot more to take a look at, and I hope to see you guys in the future.
Well, that's going to be all for now, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and watch some of our other videos that we've made on this channel. Also, give this video a like if you thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content. And I hope to see you guys back at the Roost.